going to help me. She's going to tag team with me on this. But what we wanted to focus on today, we're doing listings, right? Listing machine. Okay. So the KVCore listing machine is what I want to focus on today. And then next week, we're going to focus on campaigns, smart campaigns, and social media. I wanted to put this first because, good morning, Lindsay, because, you know, this big push that we're doing office-wide to try to get you guys marketing for more listings. I want to make sure you understand the tools that are available to you if and when you get listing interviews or listings that you take. So over here on the left side are your listings. And then under marketing is core listing machine. So there's two different ways. Once you have an active listing, under your listings, you can access the resources that it gives you, and it creates assets for you automatically as soon as you put a listing into the MLS and it pulls over into KVCore. It will create for you. Well, let me get to the office listings. It'll create assets for you, marketing pieces for you automatically, which is pretty awesome. So, all right, well, that's not gonna work. It usually lets me, oh, there we go, company listings, because I'm in the wrong spot. So just to kind of show you, and if any of you made a listing active in here already, you've probably gotten the email alert saying your listing marketing tools are active or are ready for you. Your listing assets, I think it calls it. But so for example, if I just go into one of the listings, that's a rental. I don't want to go into there. I'm going to use Cassie's Lindale. So when you go into your listing over here on the right hand side, first of all, you have all of your, you can get to your website tool, but it's pulled in all of this. So here's the direct link on the right hand side to the website, that property on your website. You guys should be able to, can you guys access company listings and see them on here as well? Yeah, good. Okay. So you guys can do the same thing. So when you want to boost out a listing onto your social media, that's an office listing, just make sure you're doing it from your website, not from the listing agent's website. Okay. That's how you can get the benefit of trying to draw leads to your website by posting it to your website, not to the listing agent. So you don't want to take our office social media post and just share it out or go to that web link and then share it out, because we are posting the listing agent's website link. So you want to make sure you're posting it from yours, right?
None of these are my listings, but when I click on direct link, it takes everybody to my page.
To your site.
Takes that. And if you share it directly out of KVCore, it'll automatically take them to yours.
Yeah.
So you use the direct link.
Yeah.
Rather than.
So if you notice, I just clicked on the direct link and it took it to my tinahyatt.hyattandcompany.com and that property specific website. Okay.
Same with anything you make in here and more action. You put a flag post Facebook, it takes them all to yours. And
Yep. So if you want to market out any listings on your social media, go in here to listings, company listings, and that's where you can access all the offices listings. Okay. So from there, that's where you go to direct link. So that's the first thing you can access. Okay. Down under more actions, there's all different sorts of things that you can do, but notice it says email to hashtag or text to hashtag. The cool thing about this, guys, remember your contacts in your database, and we went over this last month when we did the CRM part, you want to make sure you have hashtags to all of your contacts in here. The reason for that is all of the marketing you're going to do in here, think of a hashtag just like you would think of like a group in Market Leader. When we had Market Leader and you put your contacts into different groups, right? OpCity, Zillow, Sphere of Influence, past client, buyer, whatever. The hashtags work the same way. So you want to give a hashtag to every contact in your database because those hashtags are going to allow you to do your mass marketing. Okay. So notice this is a great example. I could email this listing notification out to my hashtag. And when I click on that, I put in the hashtag I want to send it to. So if I got a new listing, and every time I got a new listing, I wanted to email it out to all of my sphere of influence people, I would put in hashtag SOI or hashtag sphere or whatever I'm labeling it. And it will email it out to everybody that has that hashtag assigned to them. Make
So we
sense?
want to like group our hashtags to what they are.
And add multiple
Yeah.
ones, so like,
Yep.
let's say for this one specific, have hashtag rental,
Yeah,
boom, right there, email to hashtag rental because it's a rental.
yeah,
Or you have like hashtag Baltimore County, there you go, or Baltimore City, I guess in this case, but
Yeah.
either way, like, you can use multiple hashtags, so I always put in there like buyer, renter, what area, first time home buyer, you know,
Yeah.
any of those kinds of things, it kind of helps. You can have as many hashtags as you want, it's just an easier way to group people.
yeah.
Okay.
All right. You could text it out. So notice this also has the text features, which Market Leader didn't have before. So if you have OpCity or Zillow leads and they're rental leads, you could email it out, like she said, or text it out to hashtag rental and send it out to everybody that's a rental lead through text message. And it's a link to your website, to that property on your website. Okay. QR code, so you can generate a QR code for your properties, for your listings. Print your flyer. So notice it creates for you automatically a flyer. So if I click on print flyer, automatically it created for me a property flyer. It's a 3-page flyer, so it's like a little pamphlet. Or if I wanted to, I could just do the front and I could do the back and make it 2-sided. And now I have a nice 2-sided flyer and not even put any of the inside photos in there if I didn't want to. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's got all of your marketing information on there also. So all of your contact information's on there. So that's under more and then print flyer. Okay, post to Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, Craigslist. I wouldn't use Craigslist, but I just have to say that as my public service announcement for the day. If you have virtual tours, so if you
Hey,
use,
Tina,
yeah,
talking about Craigslist, did you hear what happened to me this weekend?
no,
I listed a property Friday, Thursday, and somebody called me somebody called me who had went into Craigslist, and my property that was for sale was listed for rent for $1,000.
wow. Yeah, there's huge, guys, be very careful. There's major scams going on right now. John Taylor got a listing lead that he listed, met the seller, listed it. It's not really the owner. He got a call. He got all these agents starting to call him saying, this is a scam listing. We got this same lead. We got, we tried to list it. John, you could answer more about that, I'm sure. But, and then the real owner called him and said, yeah, I'm the real owner. That's not legit. It's not a real listing. Crazy. So there are so many, thank you, Maida, so many scams going around right now. So just be very careful. But if you have a virtual tour that you had created somewhere, a video link, bless you, you could add your virtual tour link. Any of that information you can add in here as well. You can also enhance your description or edit your description if you wanted to. Boost property. So the boost property button is similar to the Exit Resource Center boosted Facebook ads, but it's going to create boosted ads for you. And you pick, Michelle, hey, what's up?
So
Did you have a question?
wait a second. Hi there, sorry. Yeah, I had a question before you jumped off that flyer, when it said print a flyer, can you change the flyer that they already created in any way? Or is it just, it took me straight to where I could print it into a PDF and save it for printing later? And then also like in your comments, or your remarks section, it kind of cuts off. Is there any way to adjust what they've already created?
So not there on the PDF. What you would have to do is go over to marketing and go to the design center
Right.
In the design center, you can create your own flyers, and then these are editable. So in the design center, if you click on print media and then listing promotion, so here's some of your different flyer designs that you can pick from. So
Yeah.
there's 15 different designs, but the nice thing about this is, so when I pick that design, 3410 Lindale, on the right-hand side over here, if I put in 3410 Lindale and click on it, it's going to automatically create that flyer for me. So,
Then you,
and now I can edit this. So like instantaneously, there's my flyer, but now I can go in and edit this if I wanted to. So,
I have a question about flyers
mhm,
while we're on there. So when I do listings, I always have found those luxury brochure flyers,
yeah,
and I don't find that anywhere
in here.
No, they have a five-fold that you fold, but not the actual
Full,
really nice ones. And I didn't know if anybody else had that. I mean, I didn't see them in there because I prefer those. I just think they look really nice.
for the luxury, yeah.
And if there's an alternative, then since I don't see them in there, what we might be able to do, I went to Canva, and they did have them, but they were really expensive to do, because I used to do them through Market Leader, and it was $50-some for 25 of those luxury, which were really
Yeah.
nice for sure.
So remember, so Market Leader printed from, I think, what, Shutterfly?
Oh, they did print.
So what you could do is if you create it in Canva, then you just download
Load
the
it.
PDF, and then you can print it on Shutterfly,
And it did come through
Vistaprint, anywhere else, but
Okay,
yes.
okay.
So they use, specifically, they use
Got
Shutterfly. Now, I'll tell you the alternative to that, if you want to do it, in the Exit Resource Center
Right,
is Promo Shop.
right.
Promo Shop is the back end of Market Leader. So you can access it. There's a free version, like a mini free version, or there's a paid version.
Yeah, and I did look at that.
And
It's
I
like
think-
$25 for the paid version. It wasn't
A
very
month.
expensive. Oh, maybe. it
I
was
think it's a
more.
month, or you
Okay.
can pay an annual. I thought it was $250 a year
Okay.
to join for the year, $249. I thought was the yearly, but you get a 30-day free trial. And then I think you get like a little mini free version.
Okay.
But that would have all of the old Market Leader materials. So if there's something from Market Leader that you really like and you used often, you could do that.
Yeah, I mean, that's amazing. The flyers and all, they were great what they had.
Yeah,
Here when
I
was
know.
fooling around with it, but I really do like the luxury brochures, and they just look really nice. And I take them too for listing presentations and show them the marketing I've done, and clients really like them.
Yeah,
So,
no, they are
I
really
think
nice.
these-
Yep. So yeah, that would be my recommendation for that, unfortunately. Because the design center in here has stuff and it makes it faster, but there are some limitations to it.
Okay.
Michelle, did that answer your question? I would say if you really want to edit your flyer more, it's just like, if, in the Exit, the Expert Marketing Suite in Exit, the printed flyers, these where it says print flyer, these are meant to be down and dirty, fast and easy. Click a button and you have a flyer ready to print. It's not necessarily, one to spend time in editing. That would be in the design center under flyer, property marketing flyers. And that's where you could actually edit it more, add to the description or delete, change photos, all of those sorts of things. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Did you say that when you were talking to Carolyn, did you said that we can go into the back end and the resource center and still use, if we pay for it, still use the luxury flyers? Because that's what I had to do for this particular listing. Luckily, Market Leader was still up till August 1st, and I needed like real brochures. I didn't need
Yeah.
just like a flyer. So what is our goal for like pretty stuff?
Yeah, so I just went in, so this is the Exit Resource Center, right? So in
Okay.
the Resource Center under marketing,
Mhm.
you'll go to Promo Shop. So Promo Shop, and I have the paid version because it also has recruiting the Exit branded content. So it's got the recruiting materials in there. So you can see it looks exactly like Market Leader. It just doesn't have the front facing website side. But if you want, I mean, it does also have the CRM part, so you could put your contacts in here too, if you wanted to. But under marketing, I can still go to the marketing center. And then there's all of your, here's your luxury brochures. So if you like to, and you use the luxury brochures, you can use them through Market Leader. And there's all your luxury brochures. Does that answer your
Okay.
question?
Yeah, it does answer it. So, but then we will, after 30 days, we'll be paying to jump it back into that.
Yeah, yep.
Okay.
Yeah, because this is, so Exit Corporate offers this to agents, for all agents to take advantage of and pay for if they choose to, because a lot of brokers don't offer paid CRMs to their agents. So there's a lot of agents that don't have anything. So Exit has a solution for agents in those offices, for those offices to offer them something. So, but same thing. So you can create your, your luxury brochures just like you did before, and then order the printing through here also.
Thank you.
Welcome. And I can look and see, I don't know if it tells me, I want to say it was $249 a year was the annual price. But if it gives you a pretty big discount on printing, and it makes printing so easy, you don't have to worry about uploading it into someplace, and it's all right there, and it just orders it and it's ready to go.
They do get that.
They do.
They really,
Yeah. So like here's 100, and it says they're $1.89 each.
I
When
paid-
people order their printing online, how long does it take?
Thank you.
It's, so this one, was
I
only-
just went to Staples and they handed them right to me. You just give them the PDF and you have your brochures, like, I don't know,
Wow.
15 minutes later.
been really responsive to me. Sometimes depending on when the house is going active, I pay for the fast shipping, not that overnight, but like 2 days, which isn't crazy expensive. And I have them within 2 days. And if I don't do that, I have them within several days. So they get them out pretty quick. They really do.
yeah,
Um,
and
That's cool.
yeah. Do you know how much per piece, Michelle, you're paying through Staples?
I'd have to look on my receipt, but I got like 50 of 2 different luxury brochures. I printed some other flat brochures flat flyers while I was there. And I always pick the really thick, like silky paper. I don't know, weird about paper. And I think I left there, I owed $230 or $220. It was fine for me, because I was like, you spend all this time preparing for listings. And then, it's a lot of like, wait. And then, by the time you get your photography back, it's a lot of hurry up. So I needed my stuff like the next day. And I was so afraid to push the button online, because I was like, am I going to look like I dropped the ball here?
Right.
So you can print the PDF when you go to Office Depot. You email them the PDF. They put their email right there, real big on the counter, and then you leave with your stuff 20 minutes later. You can also make an appointment and do it online ahead of time.
Yeah.
But I didn't do all that. I just walked in.
Yeah. And I
So,
know,
if anybody's in a pinch, and let's face it, we do a lot last minute on listings. So it's available. You can do it that way.
awesome. Thank
I
you.
guess 210's not bad. What does Carolyn pay?
I don't, it was less than that. Their prices might have just gone up. I can tell you, it was not expensive at all. I think I would get 25 of them for 50 some dollars. So, well, yeah, so that would have been like 2 something. Yeah.
Yeah. And as
Okay.
you go down in quantity, obviously the price goes up. So it's, the more you order, the cheaper you get.
But they Shutterfly got them out, because it is through Shutterfly, got that. They got them out real quick. Like I
Mhm.
said, I would do the 2 day and I would have them in 2 days.
Yeah.
That's really cool to know, especially if you're prepared ahead of time. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I don't want to hold you up on that. I'll just.
No, you're good. So I was just trying to see what they were charging me for Market Leader, just like to give you guys a better idea. My account, let me see, just for anybody that's interested in it. Here we go, billing.
If you check that fee, I'll check my Office Depot receipt and then just see what's better for an agent when they're like in a pinch.
Yeah, yeah. And you know, the other thing to remember with Staples or Office, you also have, so I am paying $25 a month. You also have FedEx, Kinko's, and all of them, you can go on their website and you can actually upload your PDF and do your order online. And then it'll tell you like what time you want to go pick it up same day, and you can go pick them up same day. So all of those are pretty awesome. Staples does the same thing because I've uploaded PDFs to them before on their website and ordered printing and then just gone in and picked it up. So.
And just so you know, when you do Office Depot or Staples, I forget which one I went to, they give you like 20% off and stuff for doing online. But I was just in such a crunch because we had like 5 days of rain. We had to wait for photography. It just threw us off so bad. But anyway, I needed it like print right away. And they even said they prefer the order to be online. And then you get the special discounts, you get everything. Everything's online, right? So
Yep.
you
Yeah.
can save more than what I spent. So that's good to know.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you, Michelle.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Going back to KVCore, under Property Boost. So one of the other listing features is the Property Boost tool. So in Property Boost, when you click on it under your listing or an office listing, so if you're doing an open house, if you're listing a property, you can go in and you can do Property Boost. And when you do Property Boost, you can do it for a listing, an open house, price reduced, sold. Those are the different life cycle ads. So it automatically creates the ad for you, the content. You can adjust the content. So you can pick your targeting. If you want to pick your targeting, you can also change the image. So if you want to pick a different image other than just the cover image, you can put this little image overlay on there if you want, which notice puts this just listed because that's the one that I picked. If I pick open house, it would put open house. Price reduced would say new price. So you could do the little corner banner overlay if you want. You can also pick whether or not you want to add the price on there. Notice it says display price. I don't recommend that. Why? You want them to call or go to your website, right? If you put the price on there and they're like, oh, I'm not in, that's, you know, it's not something I'm interested in, or it's too much or whatever, they're never going to go to your website or they're never going to call. And then down here below, you pick your plan that you want to spend, how much you want to spend. So to just promote your listing for a week, choose your type, your ad runs for 7 days. It'll be seen up to 2,000 times, and it helps you add 12 to 16 contacts to your database according to them, right? The next one is $150, 21 days. It runs your ad, 6,000 views and 36 to 48 leads potentially. And then the life cycle ad runs for 4 weeks. It updates automatically as your listing changes. And so if it drops the price, it updates the ad. If it goes under contract, will be seen up to 8,000 times, adds 40 to 50 contacts to your database. The cool thing about this is, and Michelle, I know you were running one of these. I'd love to hear your feedback on your Property Boost ad. But the cool thing is when a lead comes in off your Property Boost ad, it funnels right into your KVCore CRM. So it comes right into your database for you. And it would show up out here on your dashboard. If I go back to my dashboard, down here under activity, it would show up in the activity. So notice all these people viewing listings on our websites. So, I mean, that's what's pretty cool about the system also is it shows you exactly who's viewing listings on your site, what listing they viewed. And then look, you can email, call, or text them right from this screen. So if I saw this guy, Brian, saw my listing, I could text him straight from here if I wanted to. A new lead. So here's a new lead. This was Zillow Flex lead. Oh, nice, nice. So it tracks all of your activity for you. And notice all of these are all mobile. These people are all seeing it on their mobile phones, guys. See, and this one, here's one, twice on the computer, twice on a cell phone. That would be one I would be calling this person. So just pay attention to your activity, because that's where they'll funnel into. Your leads will funnel right into your database for you.
You know, I'm sorry, I have one question. Where did you get the little banner across? I see where you,
Image overlay.
oh, okay,
So depending on which one you pick, it'll pop up
got it.
the
Okay.
proper image overlay for you. Whichever one fits your budget.
Mhm.
I mean, I would say, depending on what you can afford, I would say the life cycle, because if I'm boosting to try and get leads for
Mhm.
myself. And then I'm telling my sellers, this is why I run the boost. Oops, sorry, I didn't mean to do that. I run your boosted ad runs for 4 weeks, right? That's a lot better than 1 week. And it's going to be seen up to 8,000 times and potentially generate anywhere from 40 to 50 new contacts off of your lead alone. But again, it goes back to what's your budget, because you could always do for $100 less, the extended promotion, and you get 21 days and 6,000 contacts. So, and I would say too, you're gonna, well, I'll let you decide what you want to do.
Tina, does it do it by a radius from where your property is, or can you put in parameters?
So for targeting, that's a great question. For targeting, you can change your targeting. So it's going to target around a radius around your property listing, your specific property listing. But here's what's cool. What you can do is, if, for example, I know, say my listing over here was down close to Fort Meade, right near the base. And I know that there's a lot of people transferring, PXing, I think, PCSing, thank you, into Fort Meade from Fort Hood, Oregon, Gordon, thank you, Georgia, Lejeune, Texas, whatever. I could add a target area, and I could go over here to Texas, wherever that base is, and I could drop and I could add a target area in that area.
Have a list. Have a list.
Nice. Very cool. So if I add, here we go.
Got here, a lot of the schools, they like our, or NSA.
So if this is my, like, if I know they're coming in from Galveston area, I don't know, I just dropped that. I could put my target, don't laugh at me. I could put my little radius, and then I could draw out however far I want my radius. So you could actually target in other areas of the country for people that might be moving into your particular area, which is pretty awesome. Or if I undo those changes, and I know, so if I have an Ocean City, or if I have an Eastern Shore property, and I know people are coming from, to look at those properties, are coming from Central Maryland area, then I'm gonna do my target right out here in Central Maryland area. And then I'm gonna make my radius pretty wide, because this is where people looking for properties on the Eastern Shore are most likely coming from. Make sense? So you can control your target area, but it is geographic. Yeah, yes, you can add target areas, but you might only be able to add 2, because when I add a second one, it grays out the target area. So you can, it looks like you can only add 2. So yes, you can control to some extent where you're targeting. Your open house. So if you're doing an open house, so Savannah, to answer your question, if you guys are doing, and here's something that I want to stress to you guys, because I've had agents tell me, come in and say, well, I did an open house, we really didn't. And I've seen a lot of agents that have the listings putting out there, like on a Wednesday or Thursday, who wants to hold an open house for me this weekend? I love it, guys. And I love that you're getting out there and holding open houses. And you tell me, who's held open houses like that recently? How much traffic did you get? Not enough. Not enough, because you didn't market it, right? And so agents think they just put the status in the MLS that there's going to be an open house, on a Thursday, they put it in there and the open house is on Saturday, and then they find somebody to hold it. How do you think people are finding out about it? They're not. They're really not. So my recommendation is, if you're gonna hold an open house successfully, you start marketing it at least a week before the open house. You market it for an entire week. So this ad would run for 3 days. So I would do one of these $45 ads if you wanted to, or go into the Exit Resource Center in the Facebook Ad Center and do a whole week-long listing ad and pick a low budget. You don't have to spend a lot more money, but in the Exit Ad Center, it allows you to pick your time frame, a longer, more specific time frame. I would start advertising that on Monday, because people are starting to plan their weekends, right? If you're looking for a house to go out and open houses, you're not waiting until Friday to plan that. If you're like me or Savannah or Carolyn, you're planning it a week out. You're planning on Monday what open houses you're going to on the weekend, right? So my recommendation is, and that's what I want to encourage you guys is, I don't want you guys to get frustrated with holding open houses because you're holding them with such short marketing time frame. What else should you be doing the week before your open house? Door knocking with flyers, right? And depending on what you're trying to market for, is going to determine what neighborhood you're marketing in. So if you're marketing for more listings, then you're door knocking what neighborhood? The neighborhood that your open house listing is in. If you're marketing for buyer leads, then you're marketing not in that neighborhood, right? Because if I'm door knocking that neighborhood that my listing is in, I'm not looking for buyer leads, because chances are people aren't going to move right down the street from right down the street. Some people might look to buy for a parent, a child, whatever, or they might want to, it might be a nicer house and it has an in-law suite or something. Most likely though, marketing in that neighborhood, I'm marketing for listing leads. If I want buyer leads, I'm going to a feeder neighborhood. Does everybody understand what a feeder neighborhood is? So if this is a single family home that I'm holding an open house at, a feeder neighborhood is going to be at the next closest neighborhood that is one level down in size, price, style, whatever. So townhouses are feeders for single family homes, right? Condos, a lot of times are feeders for townhouses or single family homes. But just think about it. So if somebody's in a townhouse and they started out there and they've been there 3 to 5 years, and maybe they have a baby now, or maybe they're looking to do what? Upsize, right? And move into a bigger house, most likely. So that would be your feeder neighborhood. So you're going to door knock the week before, depending on who you're trying to find. And in this market, who are you door knocking for? Listings. Thank you. You want sellers, right? So it's a great opportunity. You could pop by with a flyer, invite them out to a neighbors only exclusive open to come say goodbye to their neighbor, or to come just be nosy little looky-loo, right? Because that's what they all are. They're just nosy. Oh, I've been dying to see the inside of Carolyn's house. And she's lived there. I've wanted to see the inside of it. So you get your opportunity there at the door, if you get anybody at the door, is you're going to say, hi, my name is Tina Hyatt with Exit Results Realty. I'm here to just invite you out to your neighbor's open house. We're doing a neighbors only exclusive open for the hour before it opens to the general public. We anticipate a lot of foot traffic. I've been marketing it all week long. The reality is there's going to be more buyers that are left without a property after this one sells, because I think it's going to go pretty quickly. We're in such a crazy seller's market. If you were to take your best guess, Ms. Neighbor, who in your neighborhood would you think might be the next one looking to sell that I should be having a conversation with? Because we need more listings, and we're going to have buyers that are left without a property. Who in the neighborhood do you think most likely is the next person to sell that I should be having a conversation with? Right? Because what have you done? One, you didn't say, ooh, are you thinking about selling? Have you thought about selling your home? Because then they're like, nope, no, not interested. We're not selling. We're happy here. But you've also, what do people like to do? Especially women, gossip, right? Especially in a neighborhood. Oh, let me tell you, Tasha, that couple down the street there. It's really ugly. It's been really bad. But I know they need to sell the house because she was telling me, the attorney said they gotta, right? This is what happens, guys. So that's when you're door knocking, you're asking for me the gossip. Then they're gonna tell you who's got kids moving out, who's empty nesters, who's downsizing, who's moving to the beach because they're building a retirement home or, right? So that's why you door knock that neighborhood. Anyway, I diverge. I got on a little tangent there. But boost your open houses, guys, market your open houses. And when you see agents asking, what I would say is like those agents that say, hey, I have an open house. Can anybody hold an open house this weekend? You know, if you want to hold it, great, hold it. But what I would be more inclined to do is say, hey, Ruth Ann, I would love to hold an open house for you. I'm busy this weekend, but if it's still active, can I hold it next Saturday from 12 to 3? And then I'm going to start advertising it on Monday. Does that work for you?
Yeah,
Right?
Smart with you. What do you have coming up next weekend? too?
Right.
I went ahead and did this one for him and then
Good.
the weekend I have to sell him South.
Oh,
Yeah, so
sweet.
Just putting in a property boost for that right
Sweet. Yes, yes. So you want to get it a week out, right? So you can really market it. If you're putting a listing active, then this is where you can go coming soon and then start boosting and advertising your open house on Saturday, right? And go active like Saturday morning or Friday morning, whatever you want to do, but you want to have a week to advertise it.
That coming soon is a great tool to get
Mhm.
people looking and footage and not.
Yes.
Some people need to use it because they want people to know it's coming soon and they're actually working on the property. But use it
Mhm.
usually a week ahead of time. I'll put it in coming soon on Thursday, say advertise,
Yeah,
do some boosts and then it goes active the next Thursday because
Nice.
Thursday's the best day.
yeah,
And then they've got a week and then it goes out again and you tell in your listing appointment, right, that you say, well, we do coming soon. It goes out to everyone, you know, all the agents in the area. And then when it goes active, it goes out to them again. It's top of mind
Right.
for the weekend. So the coming soon has been really very helpful for me with my listings. that
Good.
We get a lot of traffic usually.
Yeah.
That first weekend.
yeah, yeah.
Because there's been some anticipation and they've
Yeah.
seen it.
Yeah, and you will. Yeah, thank you. So listings, going back into listings. So that kind of goes over your listing marketing from within a particular listing, right? I'm trying to think of what else, anything else I didn't, the open house. So once you have an open house scheduled, it'll have the open house in here. That'll be in there for you. So what I want to show you now, some really cool tools for you for listing, marketing for listings and going on listing appointments. So if I go into my CRM and I go into my contacts and I pull up, I'll pull somebody up as soon as it loads. Okay. I go into my contacts and I pull up, you know, I have a friend that called me and they want me to come talk about listing their property. They want to know how much it's worth. They're thinking about selling and moving wherever they want to move, right? You can go into your CRM, into your database, and then notice over here on the right, there's Core Present, which is your presentation materials, right? If I scroll down though, there's some other really cool tools in here for you. First one, there's a seller report. There's listing valuation. And then there's your Core Present, market reports. So all of these guys are so easy to activate. If I click add market report and I search for their location and I just put in Severna Park because this is where they live. There's Severna Park, Maryland. I can send the report however often I want to send it. I would do once a month. And then I would hit add. So if you have somebody that bought a house 3, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, right? What do you think has happened with their property value? Through the roof. And I'm going to show you an example. So this is a past client of mine. They bought their house in April of 2020. So, and it's not going to show up in here, but when they bought their house in April of 2020, I think they bought it for I want to say $635 or $650 in Chartwell in Severna Park. So those of you who know Chartwell, it's a hot neighborhood, right? So about $650, I think, is what they paid. So first of all, I just added easy tool to add the market reports. right? I can click on send now. And it's gonna send that market report now to them. But then down here, successfully updated. So down here, listing valuation. If I add the listing valuation and I put in there their address, which I'm pretty sure is 310 Swinton Way. But I want to make sure. Bear with me 1 second, because I don't want to send.
Now that it's into the seller report.
This is just a value of their property. I just want to make sure because I want to show you guys the impact of this tool. And you can do it for your own if you own a property, do it for your own property that you own. No, the listing valuation is what we're doing right now. So this is theirs, 336 Swinton. That's why I wanted to make sure I was doing it right. So 336 Swinton. And then hit save. Here, can you guys see this? There's their listing valuation currently. And I will tell you, I'm pretty sure it probably would sell for over $1 million in Chartwell, easily. We would list it at like 9 and it would probably escalate up over $1 million because the neighborhood is that hot. But it's not just that neighborhood. This is, it's really what's going on right now. So if I hit update and send, I can send this out to them and it will send out their market valuation. Do you think if I have a seller who's thinking about moving or buying someplace else or whatever, and they realize they have over $400,000 in equity in their property, that's valuable, that's impactful? Yeah, for sure. So just sending that one little listing valuation tool is huge and can make a huge difference in your listing marketing to your database, okay? So that's just an easy little tool that you can send. So now if I go into Core Present and I click on Core Present, have you done any of these yet?
The core present?
Yeah, no. Michelle, did you use this?
I haven't used it yet, but I wanted to ask you a question on the last one you were on because we're all in our own KVCores. So when you just said we could just do the listing valuation and send it to ourselves, how did you open it up? And you typed in what you typed in. Was your client just missing the address? Because it just auto sent mine.
Yes,
Like
because
you
I
don't
didn't
have
have,
a second to read or even see what they're sending.
yeah, I didn't have their address in here, so I had to add the address for this one. But you can go back in and you can see it. So if I click on this email, this was the home valuation update. You can click on the email and you can see it. So here's the mark. So get your home in front of active buyers today, get started, market report for the area, local market report for Severna Park, homes for sale in the last 30 days, new to the market. This is what went out to my past client just now when I clicked on listing valuation report. This
And
is
where
the
did you
report
click to,
now.
where did you click to see that email again?
In the middle here, under their client journey, if you scroll down to sent email,
Okay.
and now you can click view.
Okay.
And these are the markets. So this is just the market report. So, and then it gives you recently listed, recently sold. So she can just see what's going on in the market. Popular listings in Severna Park.
You can also share that out on Facebook, just doing like a marketing update for a specific zip code. I did that recently when I was in my area, and that way you can also get. Oh, that's a fair amount.
Nice. Awesome. Thank you. So Core Present, when I click on Core Present, this is your listing presentation and CMA builder tool. If you want to use it, you don't have to, but you can. So it actually builds an entire CMA and presentation for you to to use for your listing presentations. So when I go in here, it should already have in here for me my subject. So notice it's right in here. It's already got my subject property because I had her address in there now. So it's got my subject property in here, but over here, now I need to identify some of the different, I need to actually customize it, right? So it's a single family home. I know how many beds and baths. So it's got, I can edit these details. So I know hers has 4 beds, but maybe I want to do 3+, right? Because typically we do not the total, but a little bit less than the total, right? So that's really the only thing I'm going to actually change, but there's nothing active. Sold 0 to 6 months. These are the criteria that it's pulling up for me right now. And 1 mile out. So I can go a little bit further. I can change my radius and I can go 1.5 miles if I need to. Still not picking up anything. I might take out, if there's something that you can take out your square footage. Oh, change your range. So I would make this more of a range, not that big of a range. Close date, go out a year. Oh, there we go. That's why it was stuck on 1 bedroom. I'm like, why is this not picking up anything? So now I probably have too much. I probably have too many months. So I would back it down. So remember when you're doing CMAs, right? Only go back about 6 months. Don't go back too much farther than that. So here it's pulling up my comps. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my radius in smaller because it's just too many comps and it's too big of a neighborhood area. So there's my area. I can also do this as a polygon if I wanted to. So if I know exactly where the neighborhood is, I'm going to go in and I'm probably going to do a polygon. And I'm going to draw my neighborhood like that. And then there's my comps, right? So pretty easy to pull up. And then click next. So now it's going to take me. So this is saying, why is it saying 0 matches when it's got properties on here? Oh, you can click on it. So you can click and view. So notice sale price, Swinton Way. She's right on Swinton Way. I would add that to the comps. Here's one back here on St. Bees. That's an active one. I would add that to my comps. So you actually have to click to add them to your comps. Makes sense? This one is under contract, I think. If it's yellow, here's another red one, add to comps. So 3 to 4 properties, I would add them all to your comps. This one, and look how it tells you it's 11% smaller. So I can click more info, it tells me when it last closed. But right now I'm just gonna leave it with those. So I've got 1 active and 3 solds. And now I'm gonna hit next build CMA. And so it's built my CMA. Here's some of my different details, right? Closest sold is up here. Most recent sold, most recent active. I can either save this as a CMA only. So if I just from here, just wanted to create the CMA, I could create the CMA. Average monthly list or sale price. Selling pace, half of closed comparables took less than 4 days on the market to close. Current active shelf life, 4 days. Pricing rate of change, 4% increases. An average price per square foot. So I could just create save my CMA only, or now I can go on to create the presentation. When I create the presentation, it's going to work the CMA into my presentation for me, which is pretty awesome. I have the option of doing a web or a PDF version. I can pick my theme, luxury, modern, traditional. So if I want to go to luxury, it changes the typeface. It gives this nice little swirly background, right? Agent default. So at the emphasis, do I want to, who am I talking to, right? The I'm shopping you seller. So this is somebody who is choosing who they want to go with. So they're trying to pick between multiple agents. This is a no nonsense seller. Their home is holding them back. Their current home is holding them back. So they're contingent. So they have to sell this house to be able to buy their next house, right? Or the make me list, who's, we know those people, those are like, oh, you know, why should I list? I just want to get as much money as I can possibly get. Or you can just pick the default. So if I just go to the default, here's your sections down the left-hand side. I can add a cover image if I want to. So I could upload a photo if I wanted a background image. So I could do that. I mean, this looks pretty, I think this looks pretty classy myself. But I can change these details. So if I know they have 4 bedrooms, make sure you change it to 4 bedrooms and hit apply. Okay. And then, so you can hit next, and it's going to take you through the steps of building your presentation. And this, guys, is so much nicer looking than the old ones that we used to have. I think it's much more than the exit ones, really. But why am I the right fit? The value of hiring an agent, hit next. And you can look at the PDF version. So right now I'm previewing it as the web version. I can also preview it as the PDF version. What's my home worth? So here's your CMAs, right? Now my recommendation is I would move this section if you can. I would move that down. So just drag it. So click on that section and drag it down, right? Because we want to go over the price last, not first, last. So why am I the right fit? We did that section. You can add more slides too. So the market analysis section, if I go back, here's your market analysis section. So it's talking about average price. So I like this too, because it's setting up average price is $825 right now in their market. So then they're going to be pleasantly surprised when I get to their pricing model that says whatever it is, 8, 9 something. Makes sense? I would even pull this up. I would really make your what's my home worth last. So now it's going to go over your marketing plan, buyer activity. So if I go into that, here's buyer demand, comparable supply. I have interested buyers searching in this area. This is pretty cool. So look at what it's showing, guys. 411 online engagements in the last month with Exit Results Realty. So this is actually showing, based on our KVCore site, how many buyers are looking at properties in the last month on our website. That is awesome. Is that powerful or what? And then on the right, it's giving examples. So it's saying this buyer number 35 last engaged on July 28th. Here's one that was on August 4th, August 6th. So it's showing actual buyer examples, but 101 online engagements near that area. So out of the 411, 101 of them were near Swinton Way. And then out of those, 10 of them were around 824,000 around Swinton Way.
There's also a way to see, when you're in the main listing thing for our properties websites, you have all these options down here, they have matching buyers. So that'll show you in our
Oh.
KVCore system.
Over
matches that
here?
house. Yeah, so when you're in the main listings, you go to company listings, and you click on one of the listings, if you go to that little box that says matching buyers, it does kind of the same thing. It
Oh,
tells you
matching
who in our
buyers.
system is looking for a house just like that in that area.
So that's where it's pulling it from. But this would show, I'm guessing this would show you only your
Yeah, it
people.
only shows your-
Yeah, your people. So you know exactly if you have people in the area looking for that listing, your people, you could reach out to all of those people. So I could do select all for these, and I could do a mass text or a mass email to those specific people looking in that for property on in my CRM system. I mean, that's pretty amazing information, guys.
Yeah,
Thank you
smart
for that.
computers do
No, no. So marketing and buyer activity. Again, here's your marketing plan. This is where you're going to talk about your marketing plan. Notice it's showing you the KVCore assets, right? So it's showing you all KVCore tools. But you're going to talk through that. And you can add in extra slides. So if there's slides that you've created, and a really easy way to do that, guys, is to take one of these screens from this presentation and then either make it really big and you could screenshot it. What I would do, I would screenshot it and I would pull it into Canva. If I want to add and create more slides with that same header design at the top, a really easy way to do that. Or you can just pick your different slides too. But if you have content specific to you, then in Canva, you can keep just that border at the top, and then you can put your own custom content underneath that border and create your own slides. And then you could add your own custom slides. Make sense? I mean, that's one way to do it. But in here, what I just did, I clicked add custom or add additional slides, and here's more slides. So there's a slide on property boost. And then there's a slide on the importance of staging. So if I know that this house might need a little bit of staging help, I would add that slide, right? Now, when I add selected slides, so it's going to talk about core social. Then the next one's going to talk about core property boost. So we're going to talk about how I'm going to boost your property, how long I'm going to boost it for, what I'm going to do. And then the next one is the importance of staging. So why stage a home, notes on staging, and I can add those additional slides. So each category has an option to add more slides also. So now I'm in the what's my home worth. So if I go into add additional slides, where do buyers get their info? And then pricing misconceptions. So depending on how much data or information I want to add into my presentation, I could add all these slides if I want to. Add the selected slides. Now I've really beefed up my presentation, right? And I could even drag those slides up above my actual price slide. So I'm really starting to build up for this pricing conversation.
Now, this isn't the actual CMA though. So
It's everything. So here's the CMA piece. So this is the presentation. There's a CMA tool that we could have created and saved just the CMA, which would just be a CMA. This is creating an actual presentation.
the reason I'm asking is in Bright, right, it gives you the pictures of the property so they can see if
Yeah.
they're similar, and it gives you the very
Side by
detailed-
side
Right,
comparison.
yeah, that is the one thing. And then what I do usually is when I do the CMA out of Bright, if you want to do that, then I also send them the link so they can click on the picture of the house and see the pictures,
Right.
so they know what I'm talking about, like comparison.
Yeah, so to give you an idea, right now I'm in the web version of the presentation. And because it's a web version, these little pins are clickable in the presentation because it's a live fed presentation. So if I was sitting and giving them this presentation, I could click on the pins, but it's not giving me more detail on those properties. It's just giving me the pin. So it's giving me the price, the sale date, the beds. It's just giving me that information.
Can you answer a
You can-
question about printing?
In the CMA. I'm sorry, Michelle, what was that?
Oh, I'm sorry. I can't hear the other people talking, so I wasn't sure. I apologize.
I'm sorry. Carolyn asked me, so sorry, I will repeat. Carolyn asked if, she was saying that the MLS CMA tool actually gives you the side-by-side property comparison with the
Yeah.
picture of the property that you you can put into your report. So you can do a couple different things. You could always incorporate that in. If you want to use the MLS, but you're in the CMA tool.
I'm in both the CMA and doing the presentation. I'm kind of bouncing back and forth, but what Carolyn was just saying on the CMA and Bright is really good. That tool is also really good for people that are learning how to read appraisals too, because it really does a chart breakdown. So when you're in this presentation section and you flip it to PDF, let's say this is good, I want to print it, and you're not going to do live. How do you get it to where you could print the whole presentation that you just created? It only keeps dropping me into the section I'm in. Is it just me?
That's because you're in the editor. Once you finish it, I think you actually have to finish the whole thing and hit present and share, and then you get
Okay.
access to the full PDF.
Okay, I didn't hit that yet, but okay, I'll check that too. Thank you.
You're welcome. So Carolyn, so in here in the presentation, if I go down after this page, that's actually just showing me the pins, the next one that shows me my comps in the live presentation, if I click on, like if I click on this one, and now it's not gonna pop it up. Come on. You can see it over here on the side.
Yeah.
I don't know why it's not doing it for me, but it pops up. You can actually click, if you guys online can see this, and you can see all the details about it.
Now, is that from the tax, also from the tax, like the bright pulls from
Tax record.
tax? That's pulling from tax record too. And the only reason
I
I'm
don't-
asking is there was an issue
question.
with listing the square footage. That was different in an old MLS listing versus the tax record and the current one. And when I did the CMA and it pulled it from the tax record, it was very odd that it was different than years ago. Anyway, that's something that we're dealing with, but, at least. it's
Yeah.
something record, you can go back and say, well, this is what the state has reported. This
Right.
is what we have to go by.
Yeah,
Um,
that I think this is, I know it's pulling from MLS.
well,
But
this was-
yeah, the MLS pulls tax record information, but I don't know, like, for example, this will only pull listings that sold through the MLS. It's not gonna pull transfers of property that sold off MLS from tax records through MLS. It won't pull those in. So that's just something to keep in mind too, guys, is when you're pulling comps, if you're having a hard time finding comps, you always also want to check tax records versus just MLS sales, because there's properties for sale by owner, for example. If they sell for sale by owner, the tax record is going to change deed title, but it's not going to show up in the MLS as a sale. Because the only things that show up in the MLS on the sale side are properties that sold with a brokerage, right? Through a brokerage that went active in the MLS. In Bright, under search, when you drop down search, under that search drop down, if you look to the right, there's a property tax record option. And when you click on that, you can actually search for properties that have sold within the last 30, 60 days. And you can do the map search and all of that, but it'll show you all properties that transferred in the last however much time.
It's an option too, if you're doing a CMA group, right, you have the option of doing a property search for what is on the market closed, or you can also do a tax listing.
Tax
search.
records,
There's two
yeah.
options right there. You can also use the RPR.
Yeah,
Yeah.
RPR, yeah. So this is the, so this is when I click on one of those comps in my my web presentation portal, and it lets me flip through, which this is awesome. I mean, this is a really nice,
Right.
yeah,
Then you
feature.
send it that way. So
Yeah.
it's really-
Yeah, so I could scroll down, I could read the description, I could show them all the pictures. Here's my comps, so I can actually click through and I can show them this one that's on the market. It's right up the street. It's listed for $825. It's been on for 4 days. Here's what it looks like on the inside, right? So I can show them all of these details.
And this is so valuable, because so many times people think their house is worth whatever,
Yeah,
but the house down the street sold, and you're not saying, and they don't see the inside
Mhm.
necessarily.
yeah,
And if it's part of your presentation, it's so easy to get past some of that early on.
yeah, yeah. So this one, for example, this one's right on Swinton. And this was one that it sold for $972.
Oh,
And it's almost the same size. It was on for 4 days. It's 156 square feet larger. But they, they might say to me, well, what do you, that one, can you tell me how you think that one compares to mine? What does it look like on the inside? And we can actually go through and I can show the pictures. What'd you say? I know, right? It's really nice looking. So, yeah, I know. So you can actually kind of show them these details. Yeah. Yep. So that's your so that's creating your listing presentation. I would recommend playing around with it and getting to know the tool. And then you've got your last slide. Here's the final slide. I just think this is really sharp looking. Very professional, very high end, right? I mean, imagine when you're sitting in a listing presentation and you're pulling this up on a computer and showing it to them just like this in live with all the data and all the pictures and everything. I mean, it's sharp. It's a sharp tool. And then, so now if I'm done, I can hit present and share. And then I can even add a listing agreement link in here to the listing agreement, or I can upload the listing agreement, right? I can add a net sheet. So for those of you that want to add net sheets, Carolyn. If I have a video, if I have a marketing video of myself that I've created, I could add a video link. And then I can download and print, right? Here's the link to my presentation. So I can save this and then just have it stored as a bookmark on my computer. So when I go and or my laptop or whatever, I can just click on it and start my presentation. Even better is if they have a smart TV and I'm able to cast like this to their smart TV and show them the presentation on their smart TV. Because I can just then put my link in here. Well, if I copy my link, copy link. And I launch my presentation and I'm on their smart TV and I can just start my presentation, right? And now we can have a conversation and I can flip through it as we go and I can show them, well, let me show you this one right up the street on Swinton. Let's take a closer look at that, right? So yeah. And here, oh, this is cool. So I can toggle between big picture or comparables. I like this view. This is fun view. And I can click view homes, toggle between total price and square footage. All these feet, look at all these little buttons up there. Review comps, the market trends, features, my closed features. So some of them, 2 of them have a pool, 2 of them have a deck. This is awesome, guys. This is crazy. Property estimates.
It does a lot more than the one in the slides.
Yeah, it's just static. This one is like live action. Michelle, did you have a question?
Yeah, I wanted to ask, like, if you did the live version on your presentation, would you still leave a certain bulk of this in your seller packet? And how much of it would you leave, just opinion wise?
I would print this whole thing as
Okay.
a PDF of it and leave that in my folder as the leave behind. Because no matter what, as I'm going through this with them and we're talking about things, I mean, look at all these things are live clickable buttons. Percent of rate of change, so about price changes.
Yeah.
Going through this, some things they might want to talk more about or dig more into, and they might miss other pieces of it. So then I would print the whole report and then leave that behind in my folder. So if I do the download and print, here's your PDF version. So that would be what I would do, and then leave my folder behind for them so that they can read through this at that leisure and at their leisure. And then here you go, Carolyn. Here's the property pictures. So it gives for each of your comps, the photos and builds them all in there. It's got nice little dividers for your section dividers. You could bind this if you wanted to.
Because I think sometimes the older plans, like,
Mhm.
they want to sit there.
Yeah, they want the paper.
And that would be perfect. If I found, if you could,
Yeah.
you know, since you found that blue line thing here that liquid,
Yeah,
you know.
I know, which is coming today. I have a new one coming. Michelle, my new binding machine arrives today.
Oh, good, because I wanted to ask you how we can use it and learn to use it.
Yep, yep, yep.
The mystery was never solved.
Yep, never solved. Somebody walked off with it. I don't know how to prevent that from happening, but so yes, and I can give lessons on it because it's super easy. But yeah, I mean, you could use this as a really nice bound You could spiral bind it and then you could, take it with your folder and
Yeah,
your
and
brochure
then
and your
it's
card.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So that's the Core Present tool. I am in love with this, guys. Honestly, the presentation is so much more professional. And it's all live links. So if I want to go back to something, this up at the top is an index. It's like a little navigator tool. So I can go back up to the drop down, and if they say, you know what did that one house look like again? Was the kitchen updated? I can go back in here to the CMA and I can go back to the comparables, and now I can go right back into that property and find the kitchen photo.
Nailed it.
Yes. Oh, so that's one way to do it. So Ruth Ann just said, then this link that you have, you can either text it to them while you're there. Right afterwards, you could text it to them to follow back up with, or if you want to send it out ahead of time, you could send it to them ahead of time for them to preview before you get there. I wouldn't send it. It depends on, I can go two ways on the sending it ahead of time. Depends on the price. And if you know that they're thinking that they're going to get more, they should get more. Like if my seller was thinking they're going to get 1.2 and I'm going in with a value that says 975, I'm not sending it ahead of time, because then they'll be like, oh, you know what? We're not feeling so great. We're going to have to reschedule, right? I'm never going to hear from them again. So just be careful sending it out ahead of time. I mean, I love it if you think it's solid and it's a good price range. Yeah, there you go.
The CMA, the numbers
Okay.
are like cost of this, they come up with the numbers. So sometimes they do, I mean, the other systems in house have, no, sometimes they're just.
Yeah.
One that goes to when it's not presentation, so you go to all marketing, you go down to CMA build. That one you literally put in a property address, and you guys on here, you can see how fast it is. You put in the address, put in who's for, and as soon as you hit build CMA, it's about 30 seconds.
So
My thing is sometimes it isn't, and whether it's too low or too high.
right. So you're talking about, you're in your contacts, you're talking about.
If you go to marketing, if I go top, and then in there you'll see CMA build. County on that.
Oh,
Get
this
started,
one, get started.
And then applicant who has to take prepared for it, put in the property address, it build a CMA, and it builds. Like that. That's one thing, and then that's the one that I would say it's pretty. Little low.
So click here to download. So here's my, yeah, so here's my CMA. There's my comparable properties.
Yeah, you can't.
Here's
alter
the
it
comps.
now. So you think I don't like this.
Yeah,
But
And
it
it
is.
doesn't really show you, what is this? This is similar recent, so it's very down and nitty gritty, down and dirty. But it shows you, I mean, here's those 4 properties. So it's ranging from 756 to 972. That's a pretty huge range. But they can
That's
see
my
on the map.
And then
Right,
you go down and
exactly.
it's got
Yeah, so like the
one.
1D on the map is further away from my subject property. So they may be like, oh, I know that area. That's an older section of the neighborhood, or, that's smaller houses or whatever. But this is just that rapid little CMA builder. So it's telling you the value range, 895 to 951, comparable value 905, adjusted property value based on price per square foot is the 923, which is what the and here's where they bought it. So yeah, and it's marketed to you. It's a cool tool. Yeah.
Because I've always been skeptical of using some of them when I don't have time to really look at the numbers and figure it out first, because I don't want to send it off. If you know,
Yeah,
it's not, I don't feel like it's within the range that it should be.
yeah.
Why don't
Made
you
it,
test out? Do a
Yeah,
couple of
yeah, I'm
them,
gonna
right,
play
and then
with it,
see what
yeah.
this thing says, and then you'll go.
Maida, did you have a question?
Yeah, it was answered in somebody else's, so I'm good.
Awesome. So that's, I mean, that's your core listing machine. Those are the main tools that I wanted to show you guys in core listing machine. If you do go, there are additional trainings, but if you go to marketing and you go to core listing machine, you can do these create new kits. So these are your marketing kits that you can create for your listings. Create new kit. And then all listings, and it's going to show you, so it's going to automatically create your marketing kits for any listings that go active. So you can run the kit for the following listing statuses: just listed, coming soon, open house. You could pick all of these if you wanted to. And then hit save. New listing kits. Hit save. Always active. Oh, you have to pick your design. So you have to pick what design, what you like for your flyer design. So these are, so Michelle, what this I think is letting me do is it's letting me pick my specific property flyer design that I want to be used for every one of my listing kits that it auto creates. So when I get a new listing that comes in, I can set my designs automatically for my new listing kits every single time. So if you want ones that offer more bigger descriptions or 3 photos or whatever you want, you can pick the custom kits that go along with that. And you can pick your same postcard design that you want to use every single time. Door hangers, if you create door hangers, you can pick your door hanger designs for each time. I can click add selected, and then there's my flyer designs. There's my postcard design and my door hanger design every time. And then I hit save, and every time one of my listings goes active, that listing kit should be available for me. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, is it like a template of sorts of the way your
Uh-huh.
flyers will be?
Yep, yep.
Is there a template the same way for when you're doing your CMA and your presentation? Like, oh, I don't want this in there, I don't want that in there, or you're trying to like button it up and shorten it, or do you just go through that whole thing and then choose what you want to take out when it's done?
I think you just go through the whole thing again. But it starts with the shorter version automatically, I believe, because you notice it didn't have, so it starts with the agent default each time.
Yeah.
And then the theme, it starts with the traditional theme each time, or I can switch to the modern or the luxury. But I don't think it lets you save it as a default.
Okay, that's what
And
I was wondering, like if you just like the modern, or you happen to be an agent that likes the luxury look, or just
yeah,
whatever your choices are, you're gonna specify that on each time you're in there.
I think so. I think each
Okay.
time you have to create the same thing. I mean, you have to create it over each time.
Yeah.
Right, too, right, you picked your pages. that you
Yeah.
wanted.
But on Bright, you could create a default. So Bright did let you save your page choices as a default so that you could start from that default every time if you wanted to. But this is pretty cool. Notice it tracks your results, so your interactions. So if you did create these and email these out, it saves that for you. But so notice in Core Present, you also have buyer presentations also. So keep that in mind. You don't just have seller presentations, you have buyer presentations. So win the listing, create for the seller, win the offer. So for a buyer, you could create a presentation for a buyer on a property, a specific property. But if I go back to Core Present, a buyer tour, so add MLS listings to your buyer tour. So this creates an actual buyer tour presentation. So Savannah, if you have out-of-state military buyers, this is a really cool tool for military buyers. But even for in-state buyers, you can create the presentation and then print it out, as opposed to, you know how you print all the MLS sheets for your tours and you take and you give them to them, and these are the properties we're gonna go see today, Miss Buyer. But I could do the same thing for my buyer in here. And then I go in and I search for the MLS IDs that we're looking for, the properties that we're gonna go look at. And then it'll actually create a property tour presentation of all the properties we're gonna go see, that then I can print out and give to them in my folder packet. And it's a really nice tour presentation for them. Maida.
So on the Core Presents, the CMA, that web version, does that automatically update the web version? Like if I emailed it to my client, the link to the CMA, the web version, does it auto update?
This one, so this one that I just created, the presentation, this one would not change my comps because I selected those comps myself in this CMA. However, I think if you're in your smart CRM, what will automatic, so what I would say is don't email out a Core presentation to them necessarily. If you want to send them property values, a link to like their property values, you can click update in here to update it. But what I would email out to them is from their contact record. I would send them, because that will automatically change that listing marketing value report on the right-hand side. So if you're going to email something out to them, I would send them this listing valuation report, because that will automatically update. It's like a little mini CMA. Remember I showed you the email here that was sent to her?
Right.
This will automatically update and resend out to them as it changes.
Okay.
Does
Hey,
that-
Maida, when you meant update, did you mean like if it was incoming soon while you were in your listing presentation and then that house sold during the time you got that house listed, like would it update to now an
Status.
active listing?
Well, that too, but also I was curious to know if other properties came on the market, would they automatically come into that presentation on the web presentation?
No,
Oh.
because you picked, so should change the status, yes. So like this one that says St. Bees, that's active right now, if this goes under contract and then closes, that live data will change. So it'll track it, it'll go under contract and then close in here, but it won't pull in more comps because I actually clicked on and selected the ones that
That's
I
right.
wanted to add in here.
That's right.
So, yeah,
That's probably better to do for that.
yeah,
You don't want it changing without.
Yeah.
realizing it.
exactly. And right. And so Carolyn said that's probably a good for that reason, that you don't want, I don't want comps to pull in there that I don't want in there. You know what I mean? If there's a comp that is not a comp for their property and it automatically pulls into my presentation or my report, they're going to think I added that. And if they go in and they see one that's like a total gut rehab, it was a foreclosure, it needs a whole gut, and it's on there for like 450,000, they're going to be like, well, why would she put this in my report? This is nothing like my house. And they're going to think that I added that. So I would not want comparable properties to pull in there automatically in my territory if I didn't have control over that. Do you
Okay.
follow what I mean?
So what is the downfall for me to email that link for the web version that I did?
Why would you, tell me who you would email it to and why under what circumstances you would want to email it out?
Well, for the CMA version of it, for my prospective listing, for my listing.
So,
presentation.
no, two reasons why. So I've said, please don't ever email out, guys, a CMA or a presentation to somebody who said to you, I'm thinking about selling my house. Because if you email it out to them, unless like Ruth Ann sent it to them the day up, you know, the
On the way to the list.
on the way to the listing appointment and said, here's the, you know, we're gonna go over this if you want to take a peek at it. But the whole reason for them having to ask you for a CMA or, hey, you know, hey, I'm thinking about selling my house. Can you come talk to me about what it might be worth? If you email it out to them, then why do they have any reason for you to come and meet with them?
Okay, so more so the question is, I'm on my listing appointment, and after I do the CMA web version
Yes,
with
yes.
them, can I then leave it with them, that web version? Can I email
Yes.
the link to it?
You can
That's
email it,
more
and
my
that's
question.
what I would, yes, I'm sorry. So that, then, yes, when you finish your presentation, I would
Yes.
say to them, you know, so Savannah, as soon as I leave here or before I even left, you're gonna get a copy, a link directly to this live presentation on the web version that I've just gone over with you. I'm gonna send it to your email. So keep an
Okay.
eye out on your spam box to make sure it doesn't get dumped into spam. But you're gonna have this live web version that I've gone over with you, in addition to the nice printed out version in color that I'm leaving behind physically. So yes, then absolutely, Maida, after you've done your presentation in person, then for sure, email them the link. And if you go into their contact record, like right now, this is that client, Christy Fleshman, that I created that presentation for. It's in her contact. It stores and saves in there. So I can either click on the link, or it's over here on the right-hand side. I can click on it on the right-hand side, but I can click here to view it. And then there's that link, and I can just copy and email out that link to her.
Okay,
So yes, at that point, then I would say, yes, you could send out the email of the presentation, but I wouldn't ever send it out before you actually go and get to do your in-person presentation with them. Because if they decide they're not happy with the value or whatever, then now they have no real reason to reach out to you for anything.
Especially if
this
they're
is
interviewing
cool.
other agents as well, and they don't.
Right, exactly. So once we're done and I've sent them the link, this is neat. Notice here on the last page, there's a little button showing you, the little hand shows you something's clickable on here. I can actually click, let's get started, and then next steps. But if I had added the link to the listing agreement in here, like from Dotloop or something, then it could take them right to that link to start filling out the listing agreement. Or I need more time. Thank you for the feedback. What are your concerns? I'm meeting with other agents. They can download the presentation from here and they could click submit, which, I mean, really, if you're sitting with them, they don't need to do that, but that's after you've emailed it out and you're having a conversation. Make sense? All right. It depends on what they told you their time frame is, I would say. So I would always ask them. So here's the first thing is, remember, always go in. What's your purpose of going into a listing presentation? What's your number one goal to walk out of that presentation with in your hands? A signed listing agreement.
Signatures.
So signatures, absolutely. So I'm either going in with that listing agreement preloaded in Dotloop, and I'm gonna have that Dotloop loop up on my computer. So as soon as I go through, and I wouldn't have all of these tabs open, but as soon as I go through that listing presentation with them, and we've done that listing presentation, I'm clicking, and they say, yep, you know what? I love it. Carolyn, you killed it. I want to, where do I sign? Or what's the next step? How do we get started? Well, Savannah, I'm glad you asked. And now I'm going to go to my tab and I'm going to go to I'm going to have my Dotloop listing agreement loaded up, or I have it printed out in paper if I know they're an older couple and I might have both. So I might have it loaded up that they can do digital signatures and I can host in-person signing, or I'm going to pull out my paper copy and we're going to go in, we're going to dig into the listing agreement right there. And we're going to get that listing agreement signed. And you're going to say to them, so if they say, what's the next steps? You know, we definitely want to go with you, but we have some things to do to get it ready. And we're not going to be ready to go on the market probably for about a month. What are you walking out of that appointment with? Signed listing agreement still, right? Because then I'm going to say to them, well, no problem. I completely understand. Most sellers aren't ready to go active right the day that they do the listing presentation. So I would expect for you to not be ready for a little bit of time. The next step is we're going to sign the listing agreement. I'm going to go over with you step by step the timeline of how long we need to get it active on the market. You tell me today, you know, we decide when you think you'll be ready for photos, which we can move around if we need to, but I'll go ahead and get photography scheduled for 3 weeks from now. I'm going to get the signpost ordered to get that installed in a couple of weeks. We're going to plan to go coming soon, the Thursday before we're going to go active. I'm going to start marketing your open house. How does that sound to you? Right? And then you're going to get the listing agreement signed. You're going to create that timeline with them. And then you're going to follow up with them. And how's it going? Do you need any contractor references? I've got a great flooring person. I've got a great painter. I've got a plumber for those leaky pipes you needed to get tweaked, whatever.
And
Right?
that was very similar to the one I just signed. They're not going active until the first week of October.
Wow. Yeah.
But they went through the whole timeline.
The-
They're going away for 3 weeks in August, but then when we come back, it was the same thing. We got out our calendars, we went
Yeah.
step by step through the process. They needed to have some work done. And they
Yeah.
didn't want it listed until, anyway, so we just went through step, and that's when their target date. We kind of backed into their target date of when they wanted to do it.
Yeah.
But then they signed
Yeah.
to go forward with. it.
Yep.
So, yeah,
You want to get that listing agreement signed.
they were interviewing several realtors, so
Yeah.
they contacted me a few days later. Fortunately, I did get the listing, which doesn't always happen, but I did get that one. And then I made an appointment and went back.
Yeah.
And did the listing and signed.
So if they're not ready that day, if they say, oh, we're interviewing a few other agents, but here's what I would want to, before you go into your listing presentation, when you do your buyer qualification, I mean, your seller pre-qualification, pre-conversation, right? You're going to do a preliminary conversation. And one of the things you're going to ask them, why are you moving? When are you looking to make a move? What, do you have an idea of what you think your house should sell for? Where did you come up with that price, right? Can you tell me if you've made any improvements to the inside of the house since you bought it? Anything you've updated that'll help me with my presentation. But then you're also going to ask, are you interviewing any other agents? And if they say, yes, we are, do you mind me asking how many and when you have those interviews set up for? Why? Why am I asking that? Thank you. Yes.
Because you
I
want to
want
be
to be the
last.
last.
Right.
Michelle, did you say last?
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
I want to be last. I want to be last. I've had some agents tell me, no, I want to be first because then if they like somebody else and they sign with them, I may never get a chance to. No, I want to be last because I'm going to come in with a bang and yep. And then when I come in, some of the things I'm going to say is, Savannah, I know you had mentioned that you had already met with 2 other agents and done listing interviews. Out of those presentations, before I start my presentation, are there any particular things questions you had from theirs or things that came up that you want to make sure that I also do, because chances are I most likely do, only maybe a little better, but are there any questions out of those presentations you're hoping that I'm going to make sure I cover? Because now I know, right? I know what I need to fix. I know what I need to solve. And then I'm going to do my presentation. And then at the end, I'm going to say, so now after hearing how I'm going to list and market your house and taking a look at my presentation compared to the other 2 you've already seen, is there any reason why you wouldn't be prepared to sign a listing agreement with me today? And you can even ask that at the beginning. So a lot of it, there's one school of thought that says at the very beginning, I would say, so Tasha, I know you've met with 2 other agents and you've heard other presentations. I feel confident that you're probably going to feel pretty good about what I have to say today. But if you do, and you like what you hear and you like, you get all your questions answered and you feel good about my presentation today, are you prepared today at the end of my presentation to make a decision and sign a listing agreement? Oh, well, I don't think so. I don't know. Okay, well, let's talk about why. Can you tell me why? What would be holding you up still? Oh, well, I'm not ready to go on the market yet. I still have things to do. And now I can, right? That's fine. I can explain to you why signing a listing agreement doesn't mean going active, right? in that time frame. So now understanding that and the timing and the time frame, and that you have plenty of time to get ready to go active at the end of the presentation, is there anything else that would be holding you up from making a decision to sign a listing agreement today? Well,
Another thing I
no,
would
I
add
don't
too,
think
is that
so.
having multiple agents in, is that when you do your CMA, be very confident with the numbers you have for their range, what you think is a good listing price, and you have support for it.
Mhm.
Because this last one was a little tricky. They, the 4 agents that they, well, I was the 4th one, I got to do last one, right? There was $100,000 swing in list price,
Ooh,
which was huge.
Mhm.
And I was on the lower end, like mid to lower end of that. I mean, they shared that with me later, but I very much supported why I felt my numbers were good. And
Yeah.
why, and apparently they felt that way. Not saying that everybody would, but you know, if they want to go with that person that's saying, I mean, I think that property should be listed between 640 and 660, somewhere in there. And they were getting quotes up to 750. Well, if they want to go with that person, that's really not me, because you're gonna get irritated. It's never gonna sell.
Yeah.
Even
Yeah.
for this market, that house, this particular house wouldn't sell for that. Now we might get a little bit higher depending on how many people come see it. So you don't really know in this market, but being able to support the numbers that you have,
Mhm.
I don't know if the other people did or not, but they were very comfortable, even though it was considerably less.
Yeah,
They didn't feel like that was realistic either.
good.
And I think they kind of discounted that, but some people wouldn't, especially if they need the money. If they have
Right.
a mortgage, they're paying off,
Yeah.
whatever. And if you can't support it, you just say, well, the report kind of came back and it's saying, but you know, you want to be able to talk knowledgeably
Mhm.
why you think that's the good range, whether they agree or not is up to them,
Right,
but at least you can support what you're telling them.
right.
That's-
Yeah. The other thing I really like about this presentation, Michelle, I'll grab you in 1 second. The other thing I really like about this presentation is this tab, the I have interested buyers searching in this area tab. And Carolyn knows why. How many of you have gone into a listing presentation and you've lost a listing to another agent that came in and said, Mr. Seller or Miss Seller, if you list with me, I have a buyer right now interested in this neighborhood that most likely would be very interested in purchasing your home. And they go with that agent and but what are they saying? There's some that say it in a very deceitful, I have a buyer that is ready to go right now looking for a property just like yours in this area. So if you list with me, I'm pretty sure I'll get it sold as soon as we go active. Well, don't we all have buyers looking everywhere these days? But this tab I love because it shows them. I'm not just telling you, Carolyn, out of my mouth that I have a buyer looking in this area. I'm showing you based on the data directly out of our CRM website system, all of the contacts we have over 110 agents in our office. And out of those 110 agents, we have tens of thousands of contacts, leads, past clients, and potential buyers in our database system. And this is showing you the data that out of all the agents in my office, most likely there are 10 actively looking buyers looking in your neighborhood right now, just in our database system.
And that is important because Tina, I lost a listing.
Yeah.
That another agent came in and said he had a buyer that, you know,
Yeah.
they listed with him. Well, first of all, in Maryland, you can't represent folks.
No. Yeah, you can't. No.
People don't know that.
Right.
And
They don't.
and she told me that's why I went with him, because he told me he had a
Yeah.
buyer. Now, he didn't, and
Yeah.
it didn't work out that way. And then, so anyway.
And her house
it
sat
was
on the
on
market.
Yeah, it was on the market for quite some time, but, right, if you don't know the if you don't know any better, right, they don't know that,
Yeah.
why they're paying a realtor. And it does happen, so this is a really good tool.
Yeah. Michelle.
I was just gonna add, like, for any, I don't know who all's in the room and hasn't done listings yet or anything, but a lot of times when people say they're not ready, sometimes they're just kind of like on the fence and wishy-washy and people don't know, but then you were referred to them, so they wanted you there. You know, let them know too that you don't have to say it in terms of like, you're not ready either, but technically I'm not ready either. I have a lot of behind the scenes, homework to do on this property. Like Tina mentioned, the signpost, my photographer, he might be booked weeks out, things like this. And what happens is once I have a signed agreement, I'm allowed to move forward on these items that are my homework. If I don't have a signed agreement with you, I'm not allowed to order these items because you're not technically my client yet. And most people are like, well, this makes sense. And I tell people it's going to take me 2-3 weeks to do all my homework. Week 4, we'll revisit again. Your house is ready. And then we'll pop you on the market. Most people are like, oh, wow, I didn't realize you have so much work to do just like I do. And we're going to be doing it together. So
Yeah.
I think people really feel when you're sitting with them, they're like, oh, wow, like you have this whole list. I have this whole list. Let's just start banging it out. And, let them know you're not ready either. I have a whole list of homework to get your house ready. So,
Yeah.
and I think most people that are a month or 2 months out, I'd be like, oh my God, that's the same schedule I'm out,
Yeah. Yeah. No, I love it. Thank you. That's a great
Yeah.
point. Yep. Any other questions? I would say get in here, play around with it, play around with the designs. We're gonna go into next week on Monday. We are doing core social and core campaigns. So we're gonna go into the smart campaigns. We're gonna go into the social media posts, the hashtags even more. So be in the room next week because these are your follow-up campaigns, your birthday and holiday campaigns, your home purchase anniversary, your online lead conversion campaigns. But this is so important for you guys to understand the listing piece of it and all of the powerful listing tools that you have at your fingertips to start using on your listing presentations right away. And buyer presentations, play with the buyer presentations too. So just so you guys know, to finish on that, and then we're gonna close because I have a 12 o'clock, but thank you guys all for sticking so long. But I did order a binding machine. So we have 2 binding machines right now. We have one that's called a heat seal machine. So these are like the book binding edges where it's like a glue edge and you get the glossy cover and you can a couple different kinds of backs. You're responsible for the materials for your covers and your binding, but the machine is here. So it's a heat bind. Allie knows how to use it. If you guys want to use that one, you're welcome to. She can help you figure out what kind of binding to order, but it's like a book bind. The other one that I have coming today, which I'm super excited about, because I used to have it and I used to use it all the time and then it walked away, is the coil, I know, right? The metal wire bind. So it's a metal kind of like this, but it comes as an open comb, a metal open comb bind with like these little teeth. So the machine actually lets you punch all the little holes and then you get the little metal coils. And I just got black, but they come in like black. You can get colors, silver, gold, all kinds of cool things you can do with it. And then you can get glossy covers, just a 1-piece cover, front and back or whatever. And then, so what you do is you punch the holes with the machine, and then there's a little spot where you set the paper in the coil thing and you squeeze it and it closes them and pinches them together like teeth. And now you have this really cool, so it's spiral bound. So as people are sitting there, they can actually flip the page back and turn, and sit and work with it. It's awesome. I just think it's kind of more modern looking, can be a little bit more, edgy, clean looking. So that's coming today. So I'm super excited about that one, but it's here for you guys to use. I am probably going to keep it locked up somewhere so it doesn't walk away again, but Allie and Amanda will have access to it. So if you guys want to use it for your presentations, please do. I would love for you to use it. Yep. All right. Anything else, guys, before we run? All right.
Thanks
you,
for all your
everybody.
help.
No problem. Thanks for
Did you-
contributing.
Did you send out an email to all the agents asking if they took it or borrowed it?
I did, and I didn't hear back from anybody. I did.
I never saw an email. Not that I know.
I know I put it on Facebook,
You put it on
but
Facebook, yeah.
do you want to tell me that you have it, Maida?
No, I wish I could, but no, I don't have it. But
Okay.
I know of people that have used it in the past.
I know. I do too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's all right. I haven't seen it in a little while, so who knows where it went, but thank you. All right, guys, have a great rest of your day. Make it a great week.
Bye, everybody. You too.
Thanks.